All right. How did you come to being in a band?
I was 32 years old, and my good buddy Joe came over with a bass guitar because had learned a few Ramones songs by himself, and because he knew I had learned, I'd taken guitar lessons like when I was 11 years old. So 20 years later, I'm 32 years old, had never even given one iota of thought to ever being in a band. It's just something I learned a bar chord when I was 11. He brought over a bass guitar, and I think the first song we jammed on was a Jesus and Mary Chain album song, actually. And then, he knew a couple of Ramones songs, and it's like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. We just started jamming, and the Ramones songs were so cool and simple that I thought, well, I could write that. So
Yeah.
I wrote a song called Nice Personality. It's like, yeah, I can write a song. So I was 32 years old, and that's how it started. Joe just brought over a guitar that we put an ad in Focus magazine back in the 90s.
I remember Focus, yep.
Yep, and got a singer and a drummer because I was just whacking on bass,
Right.
playing a root chord, the root, whatever.
Right.
And then the singer kind of flaked on us, and I was kind of singing in practice, so I got stuck singing. And then we picked up a bass player and went from there.
Hell yeah. How did you get turned on to underground music, punk rock, and stuff like that?
I came up in the 70s. I'm of a certain age, and I was into like cool music, Zeppelin and Sabbath and Bowie, normal stuff as
Right.
a high school kid. My big brother and sister turned me on to the Beatles and Stones and Doors, that stuff. So I knew my rock and roll, but I was a long-haired Led Zeppelin pot-smoking dude, and if you had told me at 18 that I would ever
Run a punk band?
like something other than
Right.
metal or hard rock or whatever, I would have said you were crazy.
Oh yeah.
But when I moved down here to Florida right after high school, I was hanging out with these in Clearwater, and there was a skate park, and these kids were all into it, like a different kind of music. And I remember the Sex Pistols was one vinyl album these guys had, and it's like almost as soon as I heard it, I was like, wow, this makes that other shit look stupid. I mean, Zeppelin's singing about Dungeons and Dragons, and Sex Pistols talk about, like reality and
Right.
like
Yeah.
cool shit. So, and that was the one thing, that Sex Pistols album. And then when I saw the first punk, new wave, whatever you want to call it, band, about the same time, it was the Fanatics at the Courtroom Lounge in downtown Clearwater.
Right on. Hell
And
yeah.
that blew my mind. I mean, these people had weird haircuts and funny clothes, and I just thought, man, there's something going on that's way cooler than what I was into.
All right.
So I cut my hair and started buying Talking Heads and Ramones and
Devo.
Devo, exactly. And like for many years, like anything with long hair just seemed so uncool to me.
Right.
Although now I respect my Zeppelin and Sabbath.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What is the coolest thing about playing in a band?
For me, it's actually, I appreciate the energy and the power of, a loud band behind me and jumping around and having fun. And then people telling you, dude, that rocked, that was
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
I mean, that shit is amazing. But for me, the best thing is when I'm just sitting with my acoustic guitar working out a song.
Hell yeah.
Composing a song, and then it's like, the old cliche, birthing a baby. It's like you're sitting with your guitar and just like, all right, that riff sounds cool, and then you come up with some lyric idea, and then somehow, it ends up with this thing that did not exist before, and now it exists.
Hell yeah. What is the worst thing about being in a band?
I don't know. I I guess, all right, I will be totally honest. Probably when you don't see eye to eye with your bandmates and, like some resentments build because it's like, hey man, check out my new baby, isn't it beautiful? And they're like, nah man, it's kind of ugly. But, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we get past it.
What is the most memorable show you've ever played?
I have an answer for that because I'm a list maker. 1999, we opened for Iggy Pop at Janice Landing,
Oh hell yeah.
and that was just. We've played Janice Landing 3 or 4 times in our lives, but that was the first time. And Iggy Pop,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Godfather,
Yeah.
and it was cool because it was like 900 people. The place was packed, and I remember some Japanese tourists walking around with a Car Bomb Driver T-shirt and 7-inch vinyl in their hand, like they thought that we were on tour with them, and like we were
Right.
some
Hell yeah.
some real band or something. That was an amazing night.
What are your goals as a band?
International superstardom. What else?
Hell yeah.
But realistically, just have fun, hanging with my friends, playing with the other bands that I respect. I don't ever expect to do anything more with it. But if we get discovered and become international superstars, I'll take the money.
Hell yeah. Do you make money or lose money playing in a band?
I'm sure we make a little bit, but we definitely make it. All the money just goes into the band fund. So whenever we have to record or rent a van to go to Orlando or whatever, we have that money there.
Yep.
So we make
Yeah. Hell yeah.
we make $100 every show, whatever.
Outside of being in a band, how do you make a living?
I'm a mild-mannered newspaperman by day. Not a journalist, but I work for the St. Petersburg Times, which is now the Tampa Bay Times. I've been there 30 years.
Nice.
So I got a jobby job. An adult, I guess.
Yes, this is true, sir. What is the biggest crowd you've ever played for?
That would be that Iggy Pop show, Janice Landing. That I believe there. I like to say it was 1,000 people, but I believe the actual head count was something like 900.
Cool. Oh yeah. What's the smallest crowd you've ever played for?
20 years ago, 21 years ago, when we first started, some of our first shows were at the Brass Mug. I remember we got stuck playing last and literally played to the sound guy and the bartender, and that was it.
Yeah.
And but to bring that full circle, we hadn't played. We were so disgruntled about that. We never played Brass Mug again. But we hooked up a show there, like a month ago, in 2014, and it was a multi-band all day, all night thing. And by the time we would have played at 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning or whatever, there was again nobody there. So it was the one and only time we actually said, no, we can't do this.
Yeah.
We packed up and left. And
Right.
did not even do the gig. There was just no one there. Again,
Yeah. Well,
not
in
to
this
dispress,
business,
not to dispress Mug.
yeah,
It just
probably edit that out.
just a couple
It'll be
things
edited
didn't
out.
work out.
Does your band tour? If so, where have you been? And if not, do you ever see yourself touring?
We're kind of adults with jobs, we're older, so now we don't tour, or we never toured extensively. We have played all over the state. We've been to Miami and Ocala. I mean, we played around the state, Jacksonville. We played all over the state. The farthest we ever got, we went on tour with Crippled Masters well, I say tour.
Right.
We went up to Savannah, Georgia, kind of hopped our way up. Let's see, it was Jacksonville to Savannah, back to Orlando, back to.
That's a
St.
tour.
Pete. Yeah, so that was a real tour. We got in a van and did a real tour.
Right.
5 days or whatever. But the farthest we ever made it was Savannah, Georgia.
Right on. Hell yeah. If you had to give a new band advice on what you've learned being in bands, what would you tell them?
All right, I got an answer. Get a yellow legal pad, and every show you do, write down how much money you made, what the venue was, who you played with, and like estimate how many people there were, and keep a running log or a diary of all your shows, because the first couple years we were together, I didn't do that, and there's so many memories that I just don't have because I don't remember like where we played or who we played with. But I figured that out, that a couple years in, I started keeping a diary of everything, so I can look back through that and tell you all the bands we've played with. I mean, there's national bands we've played with that I'd totally forgotten about.
Right.
But when I look through my diary, it's like, oh wow, we played with Newfound Glory? I don't remember that, but
Hell yeah.
but we did.
Nice. Is your family supportive of your musical career?
My parents are both dead now, but 20 years ago when we started, they both came out to our first few shows, and my that's just the way they are. They, my mom and dad, they're way older. They're more into Glenn Miller than I mean, I talk to kids now. Their parents are into Led Zeppelin.
Right.
They're way younger. But no, my parents, they my whole life they've supported whatever I did. When I played Little League as a kid, they'd be in the bleachers. When I was playing in a band, they at least came out to a couple shows.
Right.
No, my parents are awesome. And I wrote a song about them because I love them so much and don't ever want to chop them up.
Right. Hell yeah. Does your job know that you play in a band, and are they supportive?
Yeah, my two immediate bosses have come to a show or two. As a matter of fact, we have a Christmas Carol thing that they do in the lobby at the Times every year, and they had trouble finding a guitarist, so like they were all like, "Oh, well, Dave's a musician. Ask Dave to do it." And I was like, "No, I can't play Christmas carols. I can only play what I write." But I'd say they know that I do it, and I wouldn't say they're supportive, but
they get it.
Yeah, they get it, and like I say, my immediate bosses have been out to shows because they're cool.
Cool. Hell yeah. How is your local music scene? Do you feel bands support each other, or do you feel that there's a competitive nature?
I've never seen any competitiveness or crap in this area ever, and that's totally honest. I hear about other scenes, especially I guess New York or Seattle, whatever, where it's I guess bigger scenes where there is that competition thing, and I do hear about that, but no, I've never seen any of that. And well, as you know, Eric, we all support and love each other.
Right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I've never seen any of that.
What do you think can be done to help improve the local music scene?
Well, maybe there's a few people like Brandon, Tampa Bay Hardcore, Roger Peterson, that I call them scene makers. They make things happen.
Right.
It's like they're always thinking, okay, what kind of thing can we do? What kind of promotion can we do? And if there were maybe a few more people that were doing that and giving us more options, but I appreciate that there are people doing all that. No clubs, etc. I mean, Jack, I just played in Ybor. Jack's Spatafora.
Yeah, I've known him forever.
Cool guy. So there are people doing things, and Yep, there were even more people doing, the kind of go-getters, the go-getters.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just not that guy. I just kind of.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. All right. Cool.